A very good morning to each one of you present here in this room. Welcome to Skilling on Saturdays. And our guest for the day is joining us from Dallas, USA. He is Guruprasad Sowle. Guru Sowle is an entrepreneur, global business strategist, TEDx speaker, and a global media podcast platform, Lightens founder and host, committed to transforming lived experiences into practical wisdom that enables better leadership and meaningful impact. As president and co-founder of the Indus International Research Foundation, that is IIRF, Americas, an international advisor for India at World Trade Center, Utah, he works at the intersection of business, diplomacy, innovation, and cross-border collaboration. A chartered accountant with a Big Four consulting background and advisory board member of ICI Dallas. He has advised organizations on strategy, fundraising, and international growth. His contributions have been recognized with the Times Power Icon Award 2025 and the Global Trade and Strategic Advisory Leader of the Year, honored at the ET Now Conclave 2026, reflecting his work in strengthening Indo-US collaboration and global business partnerships. So that's what we have brought in today's topic about discovering the opportunities in the Indo-US corridor. Welcome, Guru sir, to Skilling on Saturdays, and definitely we would like to discover more about you. You can introduce yourself a bit more.
Sure. Thank you, Shivani. This is a great opportunity and what an honor to be invited to speak in this forum. First of all, huge congratulations to Skilling on Saturday. The consistency you all have maintained, this being 183rd event consistently, it really deserves to be recognized substantially. It's not easy. Thanks to your commitment and to the dedication, all of you have put this together. It's truly a pleasure and honor to be here and speak to you all. Shivani was very kind. She had kind words introducing me. I am really excited to be here, share my perspectives and my experience, talk about Indo-US corridor, especially at a defining moment when there is so much happening in the geopolitical field. There is a huge intersection of geopolitics, economy, Indo-US relationship, and economic impact. And we hope to cover all of that in the next 1 hour or so. But I'd like to keep it as interactive as possible. And Shivani, feel free to ask me questions. I'd welcome more questions from audience as well. And this is not a monologue. Yeah, I'm happy to share my experience, but I keep telling many of my friends, experience is just a inventory of mistakes you have committed, so that others don't commit.
Wonderful.
So what we'll try to do here is share our experiences and certain things that we went wrong when we moved to US in exploring the collaborative path. We'll try to bring that to your attention so you don't commit the same mistakes. At the same time, it will be a collective learning experience. Welcome to everyone. Good morning, India. I know it's pretty early, 7 a.m. Every Saturday morning is a huge dedication from all of you. Congratulations to all of you, including all the viewers, wherever you are. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Shivani, back to you.
Thank you. Like your terminology, inventory of mistakes. That's quite impressive. So first of all, we would like to know a little bit more about you, your journey so far.
Yeah, my journey so far has been quite eventful, I must say, because I've also been quite adventurous. And just to kind of bring everyone up to speed. As you already mentioned, I am a chartered accountant myself, and we're so excited to see the CA community unfolding itself in America. I think we have more than 6,000 chartered accountants. I was vice chair of ICAI Dallas chapter, and now I'm on the advisory board. ICAI particularly is playing a huge role in Indo-US collaboration, and we are so happy to be a part of it. I started my journey, did my articleship at A. Ferguson's long back. If I tell you when it was, you'll guess my age, so I won't tell you that. Right. And
Right.
then I moved I moved to Bangalore after my chartered accountancy. I worked in the industry for a few years, switched to consulting at a time when technology was really very nascent, and for finance professionals to be in technology was a very rare situation, and it was just right time, right place that I got inducted into the technology practice at Pricewaterhouse, and we built ERP practices, so on and so forth. Then moved on to Arthur Anderson. I was at the forefront of shared services when internet was just opening. I was part of the team that brought in several Fortune 500 companies to India, including JP Morgan and Shell and Castrol and many multinationals you see in India. We were part of that transition team. We strategized, and we also created the India path for global giants to move to Asia and India particularly. I moved to US with Ramco as their global president. And, 2008, I wrote my own severance package. Peak of recession, founded a couple of startups, got back to finance. So my journey has been, from finance to strategy, process
No,
tech.
Gucci last time? No.
I think
Requesting
there's
everyone to
some.
please be on mute.
You could probably mute everyone. Yeah. So just to summarize, Shivani.
So you need to mute yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So I was just summarizing. Finance is the bedrock of everything I'm doing. I built strategy, process, technology, worked with more than 200 out of Fortune 500 companies when I was in the consulting world. Held C-level roles as a CFO as well as CEO of technology companies, and founded a couple of startups. Got a good taste of what it means to be an entrepreneur in the USA, in America, and then got back to finance. Currently, I advise a bunch of both companies as well as individuals, and we manage their wealth as well as playing a significant role in the Indo-US collaboration. I'm kind of very excited to see how India and US can really work together, because India is already knocking on the threshold of being, the third largest economy in the world. It's already fourth, I think, now, in terms of GDP. And with the kind of ambition our Prime Minister Modi has for India, America will be a very is not will be a very strategic partner, despite all the noise we are hearing about geopolitics, global tariff issues, and Indo-US trade deal. I know it is still yet to be signed, but those are all dynamics that leaders are dealing with. But I think on the ground, even as we script the successful Indo-US collaboration corridor, there is a lot to celebrate, lot to think of, and lot to anticipate. And I'm happy to kind of share as we go along in the next 1 hour or so. Back to you.
Wonderful. So it has been a long journey and a wonderful one. So coming to our topic of the day, when people hear Indo-US corridor, many think it's only for billion-dollar companies. Is that a myth? If yes, who would really be paying attention to it?
It is absolutely a myth. It's absolutely a myth. As you all may be aware of, India has more than 65 million small and medium companies just in manufacturing, right? And Also, we've reached a bilateral trade number of $200 billion between India and USA. And very clearly, the current trade policy has officially put a number of 500 billion in the next few years. Right now, 200 billion to 500 billion is not going to happen just with Fortune 500 companies. The way I see it is, Fortune 500 companies laid the digital pathway, but the velocity, the speed, and the traffic will be driven by small and medium companies. They've laid the road, but somebody has to use the road to get us to the destination, and that is small and medium companies. I must also share with all the viewers, I had an opportunity to meet the Prime Minister a few years back, and we were talking about the combined power of small and medium segment, which India has. It is not just for India, but it has the competencies and the the tactical power, I must say, to contribute to other economies as well, and to be a part of the global supply chain that is such a big challenge today. So definitely, I think there's a huge play. And also, if you look at the combined trade, uh, bilateral trade number, 80% of that comes from small and medium segment, by the way. It's just 20% that's coming from Fortune 500 companies. So we are really looking at the small and medium segment to drive India's engine to wherever it wants to go, whether it's being world number three, number two, or even number one in a couple of decades. Anything is possible, and I think India is right there at the threshold. At the same time, it's also about global economy. It's not just about India. I think today it's not about one country, one geography. I think today it's about a combined growth, because there is so much of interdependency. Collaboration is not an option anymore, it's a must. And we need to grow. We need to also carry other geographies to grow along with us, because there is a lot of cross sharing and collaboration and partnering that has to happen. And it's already happening. It is just that it has to get more intense, and it will.
So it really gels well with Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas.
Absolutely. Yes.
So if someone meets you 10 years from now and says, I missed the Indo-US opportunity, what do you think they ignore today?
So one thing we need to notice today is there's a structural realignment, right? Supply chain is not a single source opportunity or a reality today. Supply chain is it's a global phenomenon now, right? So if you were to manufacture a Tesla car, the supply chain is so complex. It can't. I mean, no company can depend on one geography. So there is a huge shift that's happening, which is why, especially post-COVID, supply chain has become a key driver, which we can't afford to miss. And then, if you look at India, where it was, when we were helping BPOs and KPOs to move to India in our consulting days at Arthur Andersen and Price Waterhouse, those days, data was the king, right? Moving non-core processes like finance, accounting, HR, call centers, and the very, very commoditized play. Today it's not about just processes and non-core processes. Today it's about being a real partner at a totally different level, right? Today we're talking about GCC. There are 1,600 GCCs in India already, and a substantial part of it is semiconductor, AI, and deep tech, aerospace and defense, cybersecurity. So today, when you talk of a back office in India, it's not the back office which we saw 15 years back. It is no longer a back office destination. It's actually a global partner, or a partner for America, for example. in all these critical sectors, AI, semiconductor, chip manufacturing, your telecom, mobile phones, aerospace and defense. India is seen as a major partner today. So I think that paradigm shift has already happened, right? Uh, Beyond that, today it's no longer doing back office services. Today, it's about offering India's manufacturing might to the world, right? Not just from India, but also to take manufacturing from India to other countries, maybe UK, maybe US. A new trend is Indian manufacturers are coming to US like IT players were coming to US 10, 15 years back. And we are so happy with the trend from the Indian diaspora sitting here in US. We are seeing that shift, and we are more than happy to support that movement. And also our Prime Minister Modi has already mentioned several times on several occasions that India is a global destination of talent. It's a powerhouse of talent. Whole world can dip into India for talent. And it's not about India's being arrogant about it. It's about India being a productive, constructive partner to the other countries in the world, because that is badly, badly needed.
So definitely added a lot more perspectives about what the shift has been there over a decade. And absolutely, we all are witnessing that shift from focusing on data centers to now various fields and AI, semiconductors, and others. So, yeah, the shift is visible, and definitely we can see uh, the transformations and the bright future that is promised by the PM, and we can like have more opportunities generated out of these and the GCCs that are working. The world once looked at India as a market. So now today it looks at India as a partner. So what are the specific changes, if you can highlight on that?
As I
We
mentioned,
have covered in the previous, a brief you have covered in the previous answer.
sure.
Would like to explore more.
Absolutely. Just to add to what I said earlier, you're really looking at, just it's not an outsourcing destination anymore, right? India owns a certain uh, component of growth in the world and for the world. So it's no longer just writing accounts in the back end. It's about delivering what the world needs today. And I think that is a big shift, and that's a huge paradigm shift. And that will drive several economic consequences positively. And it will also create certain realignment in terms of supply chain, sourcing. There's already a gradual shift from China to India in terms of focus on manufacturing, right? I know US and India are already in collaboration on the jet engine deal. There's so much happening in core sectors, and it's not a safe play anymore. Although India was once upon a time seen as a third world country, today it is globally, reckoning emerging power. And I must tell you, Shivani, in several conversations that I'm involved in at various levels, at all levels, I must say, uh, uh, no conversation about collaboration is complete without India in the discussion in America. So India is a huge brand today. India was not a
What a
brand
huge,
20. Yeah.
what a huge brand we have created.
Absolutely. India, I think, is a big brand today. And again, this is not just a patriotic statement. I'm talking from experience. I'm talking from the ground in America, where we are actually scripting collaborative paths. We help companies collaborate both ways in between India and US. We bring delegations to India every year, and we are seeing that on the ground as it plays out in real time. So India has become a must have geography for any corporate strategy in an American company. So, and I'm not exaggerating by saying that. Yeah,
So we can say talk of the town.
absolutely. Yeah.
So let's address the question everyone asks. With changing visa rules and global uncertainty, is the American dream still alive or has it evolved into something bigger?
That's a great question. I know there has been a lot of apprehension about immigration policy, visas, H-1B fee going up to $100,000. And in fact, when that announcement came, I was on Republic TV channel just a couple of hours after White House made that announcement, and we were discussing the implications of the huge H-1B fee impact on talent, on Indian immigrants, etc. One thing I must share with all the viewers here is American dream has not changed, has not vanished. It will never vanish. But the structure of the dream is changing, right? Today, you don't have to be necessarily in US to pursue an American dream. There's technology, there is global economic dynamics that have changed substantially. You don't need a H-1B visa to build a career immediately. You can still work with American companies, and especially all of you in India. As I mentioned about GCC, there are already 1,600 GCCs in India, from Rolls-Royce to Boeing to American Express to JP Morgan. They're all there in India, and much more. In fact, the movement is kind of picking up steam, and it's going to deliver a lot of value in the Indo-US corridor, right? So the structural part of the dream is changing. There might be some temporary immigration realignment that may be happening. At the same time, America is a capitalist economy, right? And American leadership will not compromise talent, and American leadership knows that Indian talent is one of the best talents. And as you see, the tech companies, whether it's Microsoft or Google or Adobe or IBM, it's all in Indian ethnicity CEOs, right? And again, I'm not being racial here, but that's a fact. So that will not get affected in the long run. But the way American dream is being pursued will be changing, right? Now, do do engineers have to necessarily come to US to study after completing engineering in India? Maybe not, because there's so many American universities in India, in Middle East, in Singapore. You have MIT in Abu Dhabi. You have Harvard in Asian countries. So I think the education ecosystem has also changed substantially. And I think from a mindset standpoint, I would encourage everyone to kind of think out of the box. And physically being in US is not the only way to pursue American dream. There are many other ways to pursue American dream. And I can tell you one thing: people who really want to work with America, whether they're in America or outside America, will get a chance to work with America. So that will not change.
Wonderful. So you talked about there are many other ways to pursue American dream without being physically present in US. So can you highlight on some of those ways?
Let me give you an example. Uh, everyone knows NASDAQ and NYSE, right? I'm sure there's no one in the audience who will not know NASDAQ and NYSE. It's like Mecca of capital markets in New
Right.
York. And every foreigner who comes to New York will take a picture at Wall Street in front of the stock exchange. Now, the thing is, American capital markets are so mature. They roll out a red carpet to foreign companies to come and get listed here. Right? Now, you may be an Indian company, okay, with no branch, no office in America, no business, no customers in America. You're just doing uh, business in some, say, city in India, whichever city, take Pune, take Ahmedabad, wherever it could be, right? Now, this company, even if it's a small company, has the potential to get listed on New York Stock Exchange or Nasdaq, and that awareness is not very widely spread in India for various reasons. Uh, if I'm in India, if I'm an Indian company, and if I have an opportunity to get listed on American Stock Exchange, that is there your American dream playing out. And you don't need to have revenue in America specifically. And there are various technicalities to that, but the point I'm trying to make is uh, America has built, where this country has been very successful is it has built institutions uh, for 50, 100, 200 years. The institutions are so robust, okay? They've survived all kinds of situations, from world wars to Vietnam War to World Trade Center crash, the 2001 crash, and, Iraq War, Kuwait War, and now, of course, Iran War is going on. But one thing that will remain is anyone outside America can tap into American resources if they are adding value, if the business model is great, if it is adding value to the customer, if it's adding value to the shareholder, these capital markets are there to welcome you. And you don't have to have an American passport. You don't need to have an American social security number. And I'm just sharing one example at a macro level. But again, individually, as I told you, there are American institutions so spread out all over the world. In fact, I was called by one of the well-known universities from Hawaii and Utah, BYU. Okay, they called me and they told me that they want to place 100 students, their B school students, in Indian companies, and they're funding the students to go to India to do internship in India. And you're seeing a reverse trend now, and that is so heartening to see that. I remember every company in India wanted to find positions in America for internship or
That's a
whether
huge shift.
ISBs. So now universities are approaching us to help them to place students in Indian companies, and they're funding them for travel and housing in India and so on and so forth, because they see India as a great destination for these students to learn and to progress along. So India is a partner. American dream, as I said, you don't have to be here physically. Those who are here are wanting to go and work in India. And I'm hearing that in various conversations. Boys next door or universities like BYU looking at doing business with India. There's some new trends. It is just beginning to change, but the change is going to accelerate quite a bit pretty soon.
That's a huge shift. My next question is, suppose I am running a small CA firm, startup, or a coaching business, or a manufacturing unit, or even an edtech company. At what point should I seriously think about entering the US market?
Two things, Shivani. One is, uh, Indian ecosystem can get you up to a point in terms of billing, profitability, margins. How much can you make? How much can an accountant bill uh, to an Indian company in India, right? There's also the currency factor. That's
Right.
so when you're maxing out on your margins, you have to look at clients outside India because you bring that currency advantage, the currency value, the value of working with international companies, because there the economics change in their favor, even if you're a small accounting firm, right? And secondly, also, if even if you're a small accounting firm and you're quite savvy in leveraging technology, okay? For example, if you're already AI enabled, if you're already uh, quite advanced in technology, and you're able to automate a lot of processes, even for simple things like filing tax returns. I know so many companies are outsourcing to Indian accountants in India, right? That's another situation when these small firms can look at business in America. Now, excuse me. The good news for Indian accountants, America has lost about 300,000 accountants in the last few years to different vocations for various reasons. Finding a good accountant in America now is very difficult. CPA firms, accounting firms, including Big Four, including all the well known consulting firms, it's hard to find a real good accountant, right? So there's a shortage of good accountants. Do you remember days when we always used to hear about shortage of nurses in America? It is still there. There's still a shortage of nurses. So today it is about accountants. America needs as many accountants as India can, you know, support with. And India has a huge play here. And at the right time, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has strategically set up more than 15 chapters in different parts of America. There's collaboration happening with the CPA Institute. In fact, we are having a international conference of CAs in Dallas on October 24th. And all of you are invited to that. We'd love to have you here. So the impact accounting industry is making in America and Indian accountants are making here. Uh, there is a lot of hope for even a 2-3 member firm in India to find clients and to have a diversity in who they service and at what level they service and how much they bill and obviously make those financial gains that everyone is looking for, and there's nothing wrong in that.
Wonderful. I have also seen a lot of Indian firms or the CA firms tapping into the outsourcing opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Sitting from India and getting various works from the US. So
Absolutely.
definitely that's a great opportunity for Indian chartered accountants and accounting firms. So would you like to throw a few more areas that can be tapped by small and medium enterprises?
Few more areas in the sense, are you looking at anything?
Like you talked about shortage of accountants. So what other kind of works
Absolutely.
that are in demand in the US market?
Yeah. So look at where the economy is heading today, right? Globally, and of course, India and America are big pillars of the global economy, right? Uh, the future is in aerospace and defense, considering what's
Right.
happening all around us, rightly or wrongly. Every country in the world is committing a lot more budget to aerospace and defense, whether they can afford it or not. Even if it is deficit financing, billions of dollars of budget gets sanctioned by parliament of any country because they are wanting to look at security first, protect the country, and so on and so forth. That's a huge, growth area from an economic standpoint. Although the reason may be different, a little unfortunate, but that's the reality. There's a commercial opportunity there. It is not just because of the wars and where the world is heading. It's also because I want to step back a little bit. What happened when COVID struck the world was it created a huge supply chain gap. Okay? And that is still not solved. We're still reeling under that. Of course, we've forgotten COVID because we've seen so many other issues coming up. And that is human tendency. But the reality is the supply chain crisis caused by COVID has not diluted that much more than what we would have liked to, right? And there's a supply chain issue in aerospace and defense, which is very critical. Okay, if uh, if a country at war needs drones, it needs drones. If it needs missiles, it needs missiles. If it needs interceptors, it needs interceptors. You can't really afford to not have it when you're in the war zone. And so that's the ground reality. I think it's a supply chain issue creating this. Now the connected issue here is the security part of it, right? Now, digital world, digital economy, AI, which is a huge revolution. We're expecting AI to be a $1 trillion industry in the next 2 to 3 years. Just AI services I'm talking about. Now, can you imagine the kind of security implications of these technologies? So, cybersecurity is uh, is another big area where there's going to be tremendous demand for Indian engineers, Indian talent, Indian diaspora to look at these critical core infrastructure related stuff as well. And then you're looking at biotech, life sciences, Indian pharma is doing very well in America. Uh, and then going forward, you're also looking at collaboration at the manufacturing level. And these are some sectors where opportunities are just about beginning to grow, and that will continue. So, but if you look at it from a finance accounting angle, uh, these are the growth sectors, right? So, as an accountant, if you can start focusing on these sectors, there's so much of work to pick up there. I'm not sure how many CPA firms or CA firms in India or wherever, whichever part of the world, have a vertical focus, right? So if a 10-member CA firm can say, look, we are specializing in oil and gas accounting, or we are specializing in semiconductor accounting, that vertical focus is something I think will come through, but those who can take those early positions will stand to benefit a lot. I hope I answered your question.
Yes. So as you have interacted with businesses on both sides of film, what's the funniest or most expensive mistake Indian entrepreneurs make when trying to enter the US?
I love this question, Shivani, uh, because these are the mistakes that we learned from. So I'm happy to
Right.
yeah share where things can go wrong. One of the common mistakes I've seen even today. I was at Select USA event in May, where India sent the biggest contingent, Indian companies, Indian consultants. Uh, when you talk of cost as a differentiator, that is honestly no longer a big differentiator, right? I think one needs to understand that in USA, a cost advantage is, yeah, they like to have a cost advantage, but not at the cost of value or quality or customer satisfaction, right? So if you look at the four key ingredients of any successful operation, I call it TCQC: time, cost, quality, customer satisfaction, right? Today it's no longer customer satisfaction. Customer has to be delighted. Satisfaction is no longer just enough. Uh, Customer has to love you and say, okay, I can't exist without you. So it's much more than satisfaction. That's what clients expect today, right? So on cost, India competing on cost is not a big differentiator today. And as you all know, the cost structures in India has also gone up. Inflation is huge in India. There's a currency issue. Dollar rupee equation is changing rapidly, which is not very favorable. You heard Prime Minister making some announcement for conservative measures, and he was also encouraging people not to travel unnecessarily, things like that. Now, these are day-to-day economic dynamics that we have to deal with. So cost is not a big differentiator there. And the other reality is where in identifying the customer, uh, you've got to have complete clarity on who is your customer and how will you get to that customer. And customer acquisition is one of the biggest challenges in America. It looks simple from outside, but every company, not just Indian company, any part of the world, from any part of the world, when they come to US, they really need to understand that selling in New York is very different from selling in LA as opposed to selling in Indiana or Texas. The markets are different, right? So it's like applying one formula for Delhi and Bombay and Jammu Kashmir and Darjeeling. It doesn't work. America is very diverse. There are variances, there are variations between states, between counties, and that sensitizing your service to local requirements is very important. And foreign companies don't get that immediately. That's really where they need local help, help from partners, and that's really where in selling you cannot copy paste the sales strategy uh, to an American geography. It has to be highly tailored and kind of it's an art here. Okay, Americans are the best salesmen in the world, so it's like selling sand in the desert. So you got to be really tactical, understand who your customer is, uh, tailor your strategy, tactics, and of course, capital uh, cost of acquiring each customer is going to be the key. I see many companies, in especially IT companies, they underestimate the customer acquisition costs, and that's where the projects start, being shaky in terms of profitability, and then say, okay, we're not making money from this project because there's so much that would have gone into pre-sales consulting as well. And so those are things that we really need to control. There are several controllable factors, but then once you get it right, there's a huge upside. But you got to make sure that when you're entering America first time as a business, you got to make the investment. There is no shortcut. Yeah, you may have a lot of friends here, but friends here are not going to help you beyond a point. You need to play the game the way it is played, and then you will win. So play it right. Get the right people. Get the local expertise. Get sensitize your product, your service, and your promise to deliver. That's another area where I've seen many companies committing mistakes. They overpromise, underdeliver, right? It's a common problem with many American customers trusting foreign companies because they always end up with, oh God, they promised this, but nothing happened, right? And that's one of the issues that we need to preempt because we need to under promise and over deliver to win in the US marketplace, and that has to become a company's philosophy. And that's really where I admire companies like Infosys, who it's in their culture, in their DNA, which is why Infosys is where it is today. Yeah, they've always it's not that they don't have issues. I'm sure whenever you're in a service business, there's always a customer who's challenging. But by and large, in your DNA, if you underpromise, over-deliver, you will win whichever marketplace you're in.
Absolutely, and that's what I have witnessed with few of the global giants that are running really successful. They are actually following the sequence, under promise and over deliver. Even Amazon is one of the examples.
Sorry, I think your voice is breaking, Shivani.
I said even Amazon is one of the examples. Is it clear now?
Even what? Sorry, I didn't get it.
I said even Amazon is one of the examples.
Amazon, yeah, right, yeah, absolutely.
So, I'm curious to know about the upcoming of AI. And as AI is rewriting the rules of businesses, do you think AI will reduce opportunities or create completely new industries between India and US?
As I mentioned earlier, AI is going to be a $1 trillion service
Right.
opportunity by 2030, right? And we've seen technology, disrupting the industry. This is not the first time, right? on Y2K. Whole world thought that gas stations will stop working and ATMs will stop working, and there was panic, right?
Right.
Fortune 500 companies across the globe started investing billions of dollars in technology, fearing that world will come to a halt if they don't fix the Y2K issue. Y2K came and went. Gas stations worked, ATMs worked. There was no problem, right? And there was a fear. Internet opened up, e-commerce came in. When e-commerce happened, everybody thought that Targets and Walmarts of the world will all close down and everything will be e-commerce. But what do we see today? We see a hybrid model. We see uh,
Right.
physical stores. We also see, yeah, there's a shift. Obviously, changes do happen, but the nature of opportunity has changed, right? Now, this is how personally I'm viewing it, Shivani. The AI boom, okay, first of all, it's not a bubble, obviously. It is here to stay. It's a reality. We would rather, adopt and embrace AI than fearing AI. Use AI to your advantage rather than worrying about it. Secondly, uh, we don't have an option today, right? We need to adapt to change. So, what is going to happen? Yeah, just take F&A as an example, right? Your bank reconciliations or your payable processes or your bill matching processes, they may all be taken away by AI. Fine, okay, you get rid of 10 accountants. But these accountants have so much more scope because this AI is going to create a whole new economy in the world. Today we're talking about space economy. Okay, we're talking about AI. We're talking about semiconductor. We're talking about different sectors, critical minerals, for example. There's growth beyond one can comprehend. The growth in the world is so much more that AI can only cause a small disruption to jobs temporarily. But that pool of people who get disrupted by AI, if they lose jobs, will find jobs in the new AI economy. And that I'm seeing that change will happen. I'm not being over optimistic. I think this is reality. Because the impact on GDP, impact of economic value of AI is going to be so huge that the new economy will need all those people who have been displaced, they will need in some other form. Yeah, we need to reskill, we need to adapt to change. Yeah, I may be laid off for 6 months, but this world is moving so fast that if I manage to keep pace, I will get a job. So I'm not too worried about that. Yeah.
Basically, adapting to the changes is necessary, and
And change is
one who,
possible.
yeah, one who adopt the changes climbs the ladder fast. So, Guru sir, I would like to know that most people talk about California, but you are working closely with UTA. Why should Indian entrepreneurs start paying attention to states beyond the Silicon Valley?
Yeah, so I know Indians, not just Indians, the entire world loves Silicon Valley because Silicon Valley produces multi-billion dollar, now trillion dollar stories. And there's a Silicon Valley dream that many entrepreneurs have, right? Uh, USA is a vast nation, right? Uh, Especially when people come from overseas, whether it's India or China or Singapore or Australia. Our our perception of America is the Statue of Liberty in New York, or that Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, or the Universal Studios in LA, and we think that's America. Yeah, that is America. Absolutely icons of America, right? But if you just go a bit deeper, right, it is good news for people wanting to expand to America. There are several states like Utah, Indiana, Colorado, Wyoming, several others, right, which are underserved states. And these states, they had not tracked India for a long time. Now, Utah, where I'm on the board of World Trade Center there. It's a great state. It's kind of emerging alternative for Silicon Valley now. They had not done much business with India, right? There are states like Texas and New York, New Jersey, which governors of these states take delegations to India every year, and they know that India is a valuable geography in not only corporate strategy, in the entire economic development of each state. India is playing a big role today, right? Now these smaller states are waking up to that reality. Like Utah wants to get a piece of India. I know that they're late. They know that they're late, but it's better late than never. Now there's that conscious effort to work with Indian companies to build that collaborative bridge between India and US, right? And uh, look at all these, high cost states like California, New York, Florida. The cost structures are significantly high comparatively. The tax structures are pretty high. But if you go to smaller states, they're still developing. They want to bring more international companies into their states. So what they do, they roll out a red carpet. Okay, so for a new company coming into US, if if I get better incentives, better tax advantages, better support, and introduction to investors and introduction to customers and partners, why would I not go to a Utah or a Indiana, right? For example, and so now I'm happy that these smaller states are competing with the larger states. It's a healthy competition, but keep in mind, I'm not selling any state here. There are horses for courses, right? Ultimately, every company, every business is different. They will have their own reasons to go to a particular state. But I would encourage every entrepreneur when they come to America to be more business-like in that reasoning and not be emotional. Your sister or brother may be in California or New York, but just don't go there just because they're there. Because
Right.
this is a huge economy related decision for the business. So I'm sure all the entrepreneurs have that on their dashboard to take emotion out of business decisions and go to a destination in America which fits your business and your success story.
That's very much needed. The emotions out from the business trajectory. So, Guru sir, if you had 10 lakhs amount and one talented team today, so which industry would you enter to build an Indo-US business over the next 5 years?
There was a drop in the. Uh,
So I would repeat, am I audible now?
yeah, yeah,
Clearly?
yeah.
Okay. So my question is, if you had a capital of 10 lakhs and one talented team today, which industry would you enter to build an Indo-US business over the next 5 years?
Well, 10 lakhs is close to $10,000, and I'm not saying it in a negative sense, but we have seen companies built with negligible capital or zero capital. There are huge success stories. But if you're looking at it from a India standpoint, if somebody has 10 lakhs and they want to build a business in US, I think, as we all know, accounting is such a field. Whether there's war or destruction, it has to be accounted for. So accountants will continue to be relevant to any economy. Whether it's a recession or boom, accountants are needed, right? Also, given the fact that America has a shortage of 300,000 accountants today, I think even a small firm can attempt to find customers in US. It'll be difficult. I'm not saying it's easy. It's a very competitive world now. And every CA firm in India, at least most of them want to get customers from US. It's a competitive world, but if you have a niche, as I told you, if you carve out a niche and say, okay, I'm going to do accounting only in a particular sector, or I'll specialize in, say, hotel accounting or gas station accounting, I'm just giving you examples. That will help you to quickly get to the customer.
Being more specific, Jack.
Be more specialized than approach the market as a generalist. Yeah, I think that will give you an edge. At least you'll get a seat at the table to make your offer or make your pitch if you have a differentiator. So build a differentiator. Even if you're a small accounting firm, build your own differentiator. That's the key.
Differentiator is necessary. So, what's the biggest mindset difference between entrepreneurs who stay local and those who build global business?
As I mentioned earlier, I think entrepreneurs locally, uh, yeah, they're good at managing their P&L. They want to be profitable. They're super worried about cost. Scale is not necessarily their goal. For them,
Right.
it's managing a particular business within a certain framework, and they don't want to think out of the box. This is a typical local business mindset. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It is how they are, and they're happy with that. And if they can, you know, make both ends meet and flourish, they're happy with that. But today, there's a huge opportunity, even for those conservative business mindsets, right? There's a possibility you can go global. When you go global, you got to think beyond the normal parameters of time, cost, quality, customer satisfaction. You got to think of scale. You got to think of
Right.
a collaboration. You got to think of understanding new markets, right? And you should also think of a global supply chain. So you if you want to scale as an entrepreneur, if you want to go global, you have to think about combining global resources to produce that impact and make your product or service so unique that customers in any part of the world will welcome you. So very clearly, the differences between a local mindset and a global mindset. But I'm convinced that today more and more entrepreneurs in the small and medium segment are thinking of globalizing, thinking of going beyond their comfort zone, and they want to tap international markets, and that's a good sign. And I'm not saying necessarily from India to US, that's the way American businesses are also thinking. So the small and medium business in America also had the same problem. They were not going to India, Philippines to set up call centers and shared service centers. But today, even a $20 million American company is thinking of, oh, can we do something in India? Can we do something in Philippines? So they're also kind of opening up, and so this applies to all geographies, not just Indian companies. So great question. Thank you for bringing it up.
For your answer. So, if I am a university student, my final year today, what skills should I start developing immediately to become globally employable, not just locally employed?
I would say first thing is, get your communication right, communication skill.
Right.
I
That's
know
the most
AI
essential skill.
can do everything today, but please don't over depend on AI. You got to have your own original communication skill, whether it's oral communication or written communication. Assume there's no AI, and be a OG in communication. I think that's very, very important. Because
Very
you have to be you. You have to have your own personality in communication. I think that's one key. Second is, obviously we are in a technology world, we're in a digital world, we're in an AI world. So early adoption of AI uh, productively will be a huge differentiator. And thirdly, my humble request to everyone is, don't limit your thinking. Think big. Really think big, because the opportunity is so huge today. Everyone is capable of reaching the moon. You just have to believe in yourself and keep going for it. So think big and think out of the box. The traditional career paths and the traditional growth avenues are kind of rudimentary. Those who are rapidly moving forward are identifying new opportunities, are identifying new trends, and also have a forward-looking mindset. Okay, anticipate. Anticipate in the next 3 to 5 years, how is the world changing? So align your product or service or even your career, your job search. Uh, uh, Make sure you understand a little bit about macroeconomy. I think if you do that, you're actually staying in alignment with where the world is moving. So you will never go out of competition, or you'll never go out of contention. You will stay relevant. But it's changing so far that you need to keep upgrading your skills and keep catching up with technology. I remember seeing one program on the internet. One girl in India, like you're doing, skilling on Saturday, she's teaching AI to old people every day, pro bono. And it's a great service. I think it's not about how old you are. You have to understand the basics of AI today. Otherwise, you can't survive. And that's a great service today. So, and it's a maze, but there's a direction you can get. Yeah.
Communication skills, adapting to the changing AI and whatever new skills are developing. So upgrading yourself continuously, and that's where we continue for skilling on Saturdays to help our audience build those kind of skills and learn from directly from the industry experts. So that's our aim to run these sessions of skilling on Saturdays. So, are you ready for some quick rapid fire questions?
I can try.
Yeah, it would be a
Don't ask me
fun
tough questions.
activity.
Yeah.
It's a simple question. It's just one word or one liners would suffice. In India or US for startups?
All of it.
Can you repeat?
All of it.
All of Silicon Valley or Utah?
Both.
Both. AI or human intelligence?
AI or
Human intelligence.
human intellect.
Business card or LinkedIn?
LinkedIn.
Coffee meeting or Zoom meeting?
Sorry, your voice dropped.
Coffee meeting or Zoom meeting?
Coffee. I love
Biggest
coffee.
opportunity. Yeah. We all can have a virtual coffee. Yeah. Biggest opportunity in one word.
AI.
One Indian city with global potential.
What Indian city?
One Indian city with global potential.
Mumbai.
One skill every entrepreneur should master.
Communication.
First impression or last impression? Lasting impression.
Lasting impression.
Risk or regret?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
Risk or regret?
Can you repeat? I think there's some
risk or regret?
Risk or?
Regret.
Risk or regret? Risk. No regret for risk.
Yes, that must be the case.
I would never regret taking risks, whether it works or not.
Absolutely. One business book everyone should read.
I would go back to 7 Habits of Successful People.
Right. By Stephen Covey. Yeah. One habit that changed your life.
Waking up early in the morning.
If not a chartered accountant, what would you have become?
News anchor.
Wow. One thing Indians underestimate about America.
Cultural resilience.
Well, one thing Americans admire about India.
Flexibility.
And talent as well.
And talent, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so just the closing question, and then we'll open the floor for our audience to ask questions from you. Imagine every Indian entrepreneur, professional, student, and dreamer is watching you right now. If you could open just one door for them, not a physical door, but a door of possibility, which door would you ask them to knock on first?
I'm so sorry. You may have to repeat this. There's some
Okay.
internet issue.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I repeat my question. Imagine every Indian entrepreneur, professional, student, and dreamer is watching you right now. If you could open just one door for them, not a physical door, but a door of possibility, which door would you ask them to knock on first?
I would ask them to knock on the doors of US expansion program.
So wonderful. It was a nice conversation. You opened up with many opportunities and the realities on the ground floor that are there as you have been living that life in the US. Well known. You have been well known about what are the ground realities. So definitely, anyone willing to open up for these kind of opportunities, the possibilities are innumerous, and definitely there is much more to explore. So I would say, and you can connect with Guru Sir if you want to discuss more or discover more on the topic. So I'm done with my questions with Guru Sir. The floor is open for our audience to ask the questions. Raise your hands one by one. And can definitely go forward. So over to you, audience. Hirani sir, would you like to say something for today's session?
Eye-opening. Something very different today we went through, And I liked one thing. The way you place Guru sir. India is opening up and people are looking at India. And everybody want to collaborate. Because we are, in India itself, we are hearing two people. One is saying against India, one is for India. So I listen to both of them. We are very confused sometimes. But when it comes from you, from there, India is gone ahead like anything. And people looking at it. It's beautiful. I loved it. And that made me more confident.
Yeah. No, that is actually true. That's very true. And sometimes what happens is, as Indians, we underestimate ourselves. But I think truly the nation, India as a nation, has arrived. And not only America, I'm sure many other countries are also looking at India in a very similar fashion. And I'm saying this because we are collaborating at all levels. We are working with the US government, Indian government, the Chambers of Commerce, the Institute of Chartered Accountants. I run a global think tank between India and US. So we are witnessing these dynamics, conversations happening almost on a day-to-day basis. And very clearly, obviously, no nation can claim utmost supremacy. We were living in a bilateral world for a very long time, but today we are living in a multipolar world. It's no longer a bipolar world. It's a multipolar world, and India is a big part of that equation. So whether it is Quad, whether it is BRICS, or whether it's Indo-US relationship today, in any economic paradigm change that is happening, India is a big part of it. Also, thanks to the China situation or the geopolitical shift that has happened, there is a big need for India to emerge much more strongly. The world needs India as much as India needs the world.
And sir, one thing more, India has always been friendly with everybody. They try to help everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't try to acquire anything, but they just try to help. And the best part, the scientific leap they have taken. making carbon body rockets and rocket, whatever, the propeller. Then lightweight, I mean. Then they have gone to the moon, the other side of moon, which nobody has gone. So many things happen. So weapons they have developed, the BrahMos and all this. The infrastructure they have developed. There's so much of happening, so much of things happening at a time. And even athletes are doing better nowadays. They have been supported, by the government. So beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rani, sir. Anyone else wants to ask any question or share your thoughts for today's session? Most welcome. Yes, Sumesh.
Hello. Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, basically, we are the manufacturer of the pulses. So basically, I just want to ask which state in the US I need to prefer where minimum investment is required. So can start earliest stage possible at earliest age possible to invest the minimum amount. So I can try the export in the US. So which state I need prefer?
Sure. Can you name the product again? I missed that.
We are the manufacturer of the pulses in the Rajasthan. Pulses means urad dal, moong dal. Is like
Food production. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
pulses.
Yeah. So there's a keen interest in Indian food sector. Okay. In fact, there are a couple of companies from Ahmedabad. They're planning to create a cluster of food and agri companies in states like Boston, okay, Massachusetts, for example. Uh, so that could be a good starting point. It doesn't mean other states are not equally attractive. You could look at Utah, you could look at Indiana, you could look at California, you could look at Massachusetts. If you're exporting, if you're not planning to move to US, right, you don't have to, restrict yourself to one geography. You can go across states. But if your question is where do we start, I would kind of course, it needs a lot more homework, and I'm happy to, talk to you offline on that. But on top of my mind, you could start with a state like Massachusetts, where food and agri is kind of in thing, and there's a lot of support from the government as well.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Ask. You can even share your thoughts on today's session. Kumar is saying, thanks for sharing vast experience. Can you share some of the business facilitators or supporters for SMEs take help in expanding business in USA? Kumar, you can unmute yourself if you are here. Please raise your hand. I'll unmute you. Are you there, Kumar? So you can answer the question.
Yeah, yeah. So is the question about
Can you share some of the business facilitators or supporters for SMEs take help in expanding business in USA?
Absolutely. So let me start with our own ecosystem. We run a think tank, Indus International Research Foundation, and it's a non-profit, and we're helping Indian companies wanting to expand into US. We also run a US expansion program, and these companies don't have to pay anything for that, and we're more than happy to discuss those details. Shivani, they can contact you and you can get in touch with us. We also encourage you to talk to, I'm on the board of World Trade Center Utah, so we can make those platforms available to you. And then we could also speak to the economic development councils in different states like California. We work with them very closely, Texas, Massachusetts, Utah, Indiana. These are some economic development councils where we have very good relationships on the ground, and personally, we'll be able to make those connections and introductions. So it's actually a great question. I would kind of spend a couple of minutes more on that if you don't mind, Shivani.
Yes,
Is
yes,
that
please.
yeah? Companies that are knocking on the doors of United States, don't rely just on your sales team or your own networks. Feel free to reach out to Economic Development Council. Every state has an Economic Development Council, and they're super helpful. They're very helpful in guiding, in supporting, in giving introductions, and you can present your product service to their market, and they will guide you on the right path. And of course, we are here as well. And of course, the Institute of Chartered Accountants is here in many states now, and we are all more than happy to combine our resources to support this journey that you have in mind. And also keep in mind that many of this exposure also comes through some of the conferences. One of the biggest conferences that happens every year in May is Select USA. Many Indian entrepreneurs are very familiar with that. Whoever can travel, I would encourage you to look at Select USA May 2027. It is the largest FDI meet organized by Commerce Department of America in DC, and you get to meet suppliers, vendors, potential customers, leaders from all over the world, and it's a great opportunity. India usually sends the largest contingent, and this year India announced the largest investment in America compared to all other countries in that event. And one of the biggest companies happens to be Abhyuday, which is based in Ahmedabad, and we are closely helping them as well.
Thank you, Guru sir. Kruti has raised hand. Please go ahead, Kruti.
Hello, good morning. It's actually a very informative session. Thank you for this. I got a lot of good.
You got
I think
muted,
we're on
Kruti.
mute.
You got muted, please.
My child is just enrolled for CPA, and together with him, I was also planning to do that. And was just wondering, should I start at 49, But listening to yours, I think I should go along. I'm an Indian chartered accountant, but got a lot of insights from you today. And I'll, when Shivani shares his recording, I'll ensure that he listens to it. He'll also get a lot of insights from this. Thank you for that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, you're welcome. Kruti, please tell your son to get in touch with us. Shivani has my contact details.
Sure.
We're happy to support, help. And coming to your point, I must tell you, 49 is very young in America. People start their careers at 60s and 70s. We have a 80-year-old president, so don't worry about it. If you want to do CPA, please go ahead and do it. I think they will welcome you here. And if you need any support, any help, just give us a call or text, and we can guide you through. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're welcome.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kruti, for sharing. Yeah, Piyush.
Hi, ma'am. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Sir, I
Good
have
morning.
one question.
Yeah.
As Indian people dream to go to USA, but similarly, what will be the dream of USA people?
To go to India. Yeah, so that is actually true. It may sound like in a lighter vein, but honestly, American students and also Indian ethnicity Indian Americans who are born here, second generation, they're very motivated to go to India. In fact, my son's friend who was born and brought up here, he called me a few days back. He's an investment banker, and he asked me if I can find him an opportunity in India. He wants to go to India and work, and that's a trend. That's actually a very good trend. And of course, Americans are also looking at other geographies, especially Japan, Germany. Some of them like Europe. They're quite adventurous, and they're also a bit unconventional. They don't mind experimenting. They have an ability to take a lot more risk than what we would have taken when we moved here. So they have some bandwidth to take risks there. But on a serious note, without sounding like I'm exaggerating, I can tell you, I think India is on the radar of many Americans. Yeah.
But sir, now I am seeing very less people quantity in India. But any action will take government to visit in India, US people?
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
I am seeing very less people quantity in India, USA, US people in India. So any action, yeah, rules make government to come in India, US people?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So just keep in mind, there's also an economic play here, right? So when Americans have to go to India, although they like to go to India and work or study or whatever, study is easy because there's a currency advantage they have. But especially when it comes to work, how many Indian employers can afford American trained, American born citizens on their payroll in India? So it's also a matter of economics. But if you really look at some companies at a sea level, it happens very often. You all know Kingfisher Airlines, right? Who was the CEO of Kingfisher Airlines? He was an American citizen. He was from Dallas, right? So there are sectors where they bring American talent. Reliance, for example, right? Facebook is working very closely with Reliance. The several states, they have several Americans on their payroll because they kind of their economics permit that. At the same time, in the journey of collaboration, it's not about uh, who will trade more or less. It's about how efficiently we can combine global resources. But from an education standpoint, from a healthcare standpoint, from biotech standpoint, I think more and more Americans are looking at India.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Piyush. I could see a few people joining from Dallas. Most welcome. Just to introduce you about skilling on Saturdays, we are bringing these sessions into skills development, personal development, and professional growth. So we have been conducting these sessions for past 183 weeks. Today is the 183rd week, and we bring various industry experts every week. So you all are most welcome to join us whenever you are available. Just for an introduction, thank you for joining us all the way from Dallas. I hope ICI Dallas Chairman sir is there, Shivani. And I can see Shrima ICI Dallas. Yeah. Thank you
They're
for
all
joining us. Both of you.
locally.
Yeah. Yeah, Debbie, you can go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Shivani. Morning, sir. So my question to you is, of course, I need your thoughts on this. When we say India is the future, so I need your thoughts on this, and I need your thoughts on this in relation to another two questions that suppose, now let us take two instances where there are two different people. One is in employment in the US of A, very well set. But if he or she has to think of moving back to India, how feasible will it be, taking into consideration what we say that maybe not now, but couple of years that we see India as a superpower, as what they say. Now, the second case scenario is of a person, of a man or a woman who who's doing business globally. So, how feasible, possible, or impossible would it be for him or her to shift his or her base to India, taking into consideration that India could be moving to the place of being the numero uno or a superpower, or what you say, lucrative in terms of both business and employment. Did you get my question? It's a little complicated, but
No, I think I did. What's your name again? Sorry.
my name is Devashri Dhurandhar, but my
Devashri,
nickname is Debbie. Debbie. You can call me Debbie.
Debbie, okay, that's easy.
Yes.
Great question. Thank you for asking such a wonderful question. So your first part of the question is, if people working in America want to move back to India, how feasible is that? Is that right? That's the first
Yes,
part of it.
in employment and in people who are doing business globally, both case scenarios, taking
Yeah,
into
absolutely.
consideration that we feel India is the future.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what is
No,
how
yeah,
true is
India
it?
is the
How true
future.
is the
Yeah.
statement?
That is well considered. India is the future. So let's start on that premise, right? So, uh, people like work, those who are working in America wanting to look at India as a future. It really depends on what sector you're in, what role you're playing, what position you're in, and also what is the relationship with India, right? If it is Indian Americans wanting to go to India, it's an easy call, right? Because they're the drivers are beyond salary. There's a family connection. There's a ethnicity. People go back for so many reasons, right? So there, it's not necessarily whether I'll get $200,000 in India salary. I'm happy even if I get 100,000, as long as I work for a Google or Apple. I'm happy to move back to India. I'm just playing a scenario here, right? Uh, but at the same time, those who are in leadership roles, obviously, geography is history, right? So you can be in US, manage India, or you can be in India, manage US. Both are possible. For example, Cognizant CEO is based in US, but Cognizant has a big presence in India, and it's kind of common to so many service companies. And so I think this has to be addressed case to case. But for people, my experience, what I'm seeing in the close quarters is, if somebody wants to move to India today, it's a lot more easier because India has changed a lot in terms of being able to afford these super talented Indian Americans, or so-called superheroes, whatever you may call them, because when they go to India, their expectations are very high, right? So there is,
Yeah.
I think the cost structures have changed in India with all these flood of multinationals and GCCs coming up now. We only have 1,600 GCCs. There'll be much more coming, maybe a few thousand more in the next few years. It's going to trigger a whole new range of possibilities for Indian Americans or even Indians in any other country to move to India, because they are supporting massive payroll depending on the role position. Of course, it has to make a business case, but I think that I see that possibility. Your second part of the question on the global movement, right? That's where I strongly believe geography is history. Today, if you want to work with India, you don't have to necessarily be in India. You can be in
Yes.
Greece and work with an Indian company, right? So that's not a problem. And people travel anyway. All planes are going full. So that will continue.
Yeah.
What we'll probably need is more pilots and more planes and Boeing 737s and 787s with their seats strongly fitted and doors not to fall off. That's it. And a lighter.
Yeah. So yeah, coming back to the question, so it's more about Indian Americans who are in the employment industry over there, Do you think that the kind of the lifestyle change, the changes in the lifestyle, like, like if he's earning, say, about um, such and such an amount over there, then definitely he's not going to take that move because he's not going to be able to earn that much in India. So I'm stressing on that point. So tomorrow, do you think India will reach a place that they will be able to absorb such people very well into, I mean, we will be able to absorb such people very well into the system wherein, they would even not think twice before taking that decision. Of course, see, for a person who is well settled financially, it's a different ball game altogether. Family connections, that becomes priority. But for a person who is financially not so very stable, it is so, that is a point of more than connections and family. The lucrative part of it is a point of concern. So will India reach a level where they will be able to easily absorb in terms of you know um, lucrativeness, a person, an Indian American who is well set in his career in employment in the US?
Yeah, let's kind of switch our focus to macroeconomy, right?
Okay.
Uh, See, end of the day, whether India will be able to pay on par with American salaries is what you're asking. You have
Yes,
to relate this question to what is the per capita income in India, okay,
true.
and what is the per capita income in US. Okay, we did a analysis. In fact, I had a wonderful guest, General Sudhakarji, on my podcast recently, and we were dissecting a path for India to move up to $4,000 to $5,000 of per capita income. What does it take, and how many years will it take, and so on and so forth. So if you're looking at a general across the board movement to India, it becomes an affordability question, right? So if you're running a company in India, why would you hire an American citizen paying him $120,000 when you can get equally good talent or maybe better talent in India for
True.
$40,000? Right?
Yeah.
It becomes an
Affordable.
economic decision. Having said that, I want to point to one thing, right? Uh, the digital leadership India has today, uh, even America is quite complex. Your UPI payments, right? I think you process what, about 13 billion transactions every month. No
Absolutely.
other country in the world can do it. Banking,
Mhm.
financial services, digital payments, your other movement, it beats all the existing frameworks in advanced countries like America, Europe. They're all overawed by India. I mean, how can you do it? 13 billion transactions per month. I was in India recently. I went to buy
Mhm.
some flowers. The old lady sitting there, I asked her, give me flowers for 500 rupees. And I forgot to carry cash. And I had a US credit card. Obviously, she won't have a credit card. Then I told her, never mind, I forgot to bring cash. You know what she told me in Canada? She said, it's
GPay.
okay, give me Google Pay. I said, what?
Yeah, GPay.
Digital money? I said, India,
True.
India has
It's
really
so
changed.
convenient.
And this is India. I'm telling you, India is so modern. Sometimes when we come for vacation, get back to US, we feel we've come back to a village here. That's really, I'm talking bare facts, what we are experiencing day to day. India is
Yes.
digitally so advanced, right?
We
So
pay
for
our maids via GPay
if
today.
there's an opportunity, I don't mind moving to India today, and I won't miss the lifestyle because India has a lifestyle.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, yes, definitely.
yeah, in many
People are
ways,
craving.
India is much better than America. Bangalore airport, I mean, it beats all the airports in America. We miss Indian airports, Indian hotels, Indian hospitality, the lifestyle, and you have best of all the worlds. And it's still modern. India is much more Western than the Western world in many ways. So it becomes Debbie, a relative issue. But I do see more and more corporates attracting the right talent irrespective of which country they come from. I think that will continue to increase in terms
Yes,
of
yes,
trend.
yes. So nice to hear such lovely words about our country from you, in spite of
I'm,
being there for such a long time. And
yeah.
so, in terms of India being the superpower, I need your thoughts on this, if you can share, please. India, a superpower. Do you think that happening? Do you see that? Sorry, do you see that happening? Maybe years ahead, but still, I mean, now that
Yeah.
you're in the USA, which is the giant, which is the king today. But do you see this happening? I need your thoughts on this.
With permission from Shivani and Dr. Adukia, I'll point you to my podcast, Light to Lighten. We have featured three episodes on how India can become a superpower.
Wow.
The roadmap
Wonderful.
to 2030, 2047, and 2075. Okay, I would encourage you to watch
Lovely.
it. It's called Light to Lighten. I'll share
Definitely.
the link. I'll share
Look
the link
forward.
with
I'll drop
you.
your YouTube link in the
Yeah,
link.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you,
And
Shivani.
my
That'll be
guest
great.
was my guest here is General Sudhakarji. He's done enormous research on what does it take for India to be a superpower, and
Wow. Lovely.
that possibility is real. But personally, if you ask me, Debbie, I think obviously India has a uh, capability, but India also has the disadvantage of 1.4 billion people. Okay. Now,
Yes.
how much ever we grow, our per capita statistics will continue to be challenging, even in 2075. Okay, that is one challenge which Indian economists, finance ministers will be dealing with for the next few decades. Okay, I'll give you a flip side of it. We went to Iceland for a vacation
Hmm.
about 2 years back. And we were in the tourist bus, and the guide was telling us we are the number one country in per capita income. We're the number one country in everything in per capita, they're number one because they're only 400,000 people population.
So easy.
And so,
Convenient.
yeah, so that's the contrast. I think for India that is going.
Unfortunately. Yeah. Unfortunately for us.
Unfortunately,
Yes.
it's going to be one of
Yes.
the biggest challenges. But I think the way India has moved to be the fourth largest economy itself is knocking on the doors of being a superpower. And also keep in mind that the way the world is going, you will not have a single superpower. It's going to be a coexistence of
Okay. Okay.
it's
Okay.
a multipolar world. It's not going to be America or Russia dominating anymore. I think that's already
Okay.
changed. Yeah. So it's going to be
That's
a
good to know.
coexistence
It's
of
going to
top four,
balance out.
top five countries. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be more like a cohort than one single superpower.
But which 5 countries, if you can name them, please?
We're already there. US, India, Japan,
Ah,
uh, yeah, Australia.
China also.
Yeah. Sorry.
China.
Yeah. China, of course. Yeah.
China. China. And so it hurts me when people say, India is a third world country. So what are we now? Are we a third world country? According to you, what are we now? I mean, it hurts me, right? I mean, sentiments involved, of course. So I feel
See,
hurt personally.
if you're
I
watching
want
if you're
something
watching
to give
media,
back to them. So I need some inputs from you. The next time someone says that to me, I need to go
yes.
down heavily on that person.
So do you watch news media daily?
No, because
Okay.
it's a lot of politics here in India, and I'm
I
so not.
understand. Politics is everywhere.
Um,
That's not unique
Yeah,
to India.
but it's
There's more
dirty here.
politics
It's
out
dirty
there.
here.
Yeah.
It's very
So
dirty here. So yeah,
that's fine.
yeah,
That's a
but no.
different
The
Devi,
answer is no.
Devi, I would like to tell you we are running over time. We have four
time.
more
I'm so
raised
sorry,
hands.
but just
So,
one question. Third world country. What are your thoughts, please,
okay.
No,
Shiva?
I think that perception has changed. I don't think anybody refers to India today as a third world country. Uh, that connotation has changed drastically.
Yes.
Today, India is an emerging power. Nobody talks about it as a third world country, at least in conversations, in social circles, or even in official communications. India is seen as a great partner and no longer a third world country. Although there's other
Good.
economic parameters in India, I think perception wise it's changed a lot. Yeah. Back to you,
Good.
Shivani.
Thank
And
you
I want
so
to
much. Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
input. Thank you, Shivani, for giving me the space and time.
Yeah, thank you, Devi. Let's move on to Rishit.
1 minute.
Yeah,
Like,
Rishit, please go ahead.
Guru sir,
Yes, Irani.
uh,
Rishit will
140
come after him.
140 billion people are also asset as per Modi sir. And it is also a liability because resources are same. For a country, there is some resource which is divided in 500 people, 500 million or 140 million. So per capita may go down. Yes, you are right. But it is sometimes benefit also to have 140 billion. We have got such a big purchasing power.
True.
That is the concept.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. No, that way, yes. India is a great market. But then also the infrastructure play is going to be a big factor as well going forward.
We are doing it. Yes, you're right.
Sir. Rishit, you can go ahead. You can speak.
Sir, hi. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're
Yes, yes,
audible. Yeah.
audible.
Yep. So first of all, sir, it was a wonderful, wonderful presentation. I really loved everything, your flow of thoughts and the kind of ideas that you presented in today's session. Truly love it, everything that you gave us. Thank you very much for that, first of all. I would like to know a macroeconomic view of yours in the evolving landscape. Currently, as you rightly spelt out, AI is not here to take away things that are already there, but yes, we gotta adapt in terms of how it's going to integrate into our work that we're doing, right? So, from a macroeconomic perspective, how do you see the world order changing? Like, say, the M7 in US, which are now taking the center stage. And as you rightly said, the biggies would pave the highway, but the medium and the small scale are going to be the users and the service providers who are going to thrive on that. So now looking at the landscape in terms of data centers being outsourced or constructed in countries like India, where the regulations are a little softer, so to say, right? So that's what is getting leveraged in terms of building the data centers, using the water, using the resources. So, how do you see this landscape evolving as we go ahead and we are talking about uh, an India that's getting to the place where we are a superpower, right? So, how do you see this playing out in the next, say, 10 years or 15 years from your perspective, you being in touch with the diplomats and having your view about these things? So
Yeah, great question, actually. This calls for another seminar, but I'll try to do
oh.
my best in
So kind of you, sir. Yeah.
absolutely. No, brilliant question. Yeah, I think you're touching upon the meat of the growth driver in any nation, the data centers, and the way the world is changing completely. If you again, this becomes financial muscle power. Your name is Rishit, correct? Yeah. Uh, so
Yes,
this
sir.
is.
Perfect, Rishit. Yes, sir.
Rishit, so yeah, it becomes a financial engine to begin with. Okay, to be able to invest billions and billions of dollars in data centers. You're already seeing huge announcements in states like Texas. You're talking of tens or twenties and billions of dollars going into data centers. Also, there's a there's an environmental impact of data centers. There's a pushback in many locations, even in the US, and India is very much in the race. I know Reliance is investing big time in AI and data centers. So just keep in mind that even before internet opened up, okay, India was very early in the game. I remember writing a business plan for Z Business Group. They were the first ones to do a business plan for data center way
Oh.
back in way back in 2000. Okay, this
Mm-hmm.
this is when technology was still very nascent, and so India has that capability to drive technology, having the digital uh, empowerment that India has created for itself. As I told you, the UPI payment, the digital
Right.
economy that India has created. I think that will continue to empower India on its way to progress. And superpower is a connotation at this stage. I think it's going to it will have to be a coexistence because India also lacks the supply chain in terms of some critical minerals and dependence on
Right.
China will be a big factor. So while we are ambitious and we want to be the superpower, I think China is going to be a big equation in the play. I think Chinese president is visiting India pretty soon.
Hmm.
I was reading in the news, and that's a good move. And our political leadership has already started drawing new lines of geopolitical equations. By it's even military leaders are now calling for collaboration with China and not confrontation.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
In
Hmm.
fact, we've covered this extensively in our in several of the podcasts that I host. But a quick answer to your question is India will not be lagging behind, but it won't be. This will not be easy play as well because there's a huge dependence on China and other countries for the chips and several other
Mm-hmm.
ingredients that are required to for this to keep moving. Yeah.
Right, sir. And do you see like a glass ceiling for the M7? Because that's something that's really getting a lot of investment from various avenues. They're also having circular financing that's happening in like amidst the companies itself. So where do you
Yeah.
see this going? And also the second follow on that would be, how do you see these medium, small scale across the globe, not limited to US or limited to India, grow and thrive on this ecosystem that these M7 companies are paving at this point?
Yeah. So there's a huge ecosystem that is being built even in America, for example, of MSMEs in the Indian parlance, right? You have tier one, tier two, tier three vendors.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And today, just to give you an example, responding to your question,
Yes, sir.
Indian manufacturers are not setting up one company in America. They're creating a cluster of companies. Okay?
Ah, okay. Hmm.
We're
Hmm.
helping we're helping one big group in Ahmedabad. They want to
Mhm.
bring 20 to 25 aerospace and defense companies in the first go to America. They want to create a cluster. So they want to create
Okay.
a cluster of pharma companies, cluster of AI companies, cluster of food companies. So
Aerospace
this
and defense.
yeah, aerospace and defense.
Great.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I can share details offline if you need, if that's going to help you. So, Rishit, going back to your question, so that there's going to be a tremendous dependence on SME segment in every part of the world. And even if M7 is driving this whole thing, they will need smaller players to keep supporting the supply chain. And as we
Hmm.
know, companies like Lockheed Martin and Boeing today, they're not able to
Right.
meet financial quota. Uh,
Correct. Correct,
they
sir.
don't have enough vendors abroad, which is why they have such a big, huge backlog of orders.
Backlog. Correct. Running up to 3 years, right?
Correct. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
That's very true. And sir, is there any sector that we are actually not looking in the mainstream at this point, which you feel going down the next decade would come into the limelight? Something like, say, the support system like the data centers, or say the support system like a ASML, which we are looking at from the AI perspective, right? So is there some sector from a macroeconomic perspective, I'm just trying to understand, which may become the center stage going ahead?
Well, I think you know, real estate has been changing its trajectory in several geographies. Okay,
Right.
based on other economic trends.
Mm-hmm.
So just to give you an example,
Hmm.
real estate was very hot in Texas thanks to immigration policy. It has had a huge impact on the real estate market. And India has its own share of problems in the real estate industry.
Mm-hmm.
That is one sector which I would be a little cautious about.
I know.
I'm not
Okay.
I'm not saying it's a red flag, but I think that will keep changing its trajectory. There's going to be some dynamic play over there, which we'll have to closely watch. Okay, and of course, the retail industry will continue to change, evolve. There's a lot of rebalancing happening in the retail sector. And many players may go away, some new players may emerge. With AI coming, impacting everything now. I'm, and this is just my personal view.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Just wanting to know your personal thoughts on
I think
this.
I
Yeah.
think I think the retail industry may also see some kind of an impact. It does not to say it will be off center stage, but some economic trends may change in that sector.
Right, sir.
Having said that, I just want to add one point.
Yes, sir, please.
Interesting. For people looking at America to expand, another sector to look at is senior living and senior housing and healthcare. Yeah, that's a
Interesting. Yeah.
aging, a vast aging population in America. I think any business relating to senior living will have a very decent trajectory to grow as a
Right.
sector or a subsector.
Correct. The social system is not that strong as India or other
Right.
traditional countries. So yeah, that's very true, sir. Correct. Wonderful. Thank you very much for your thoughtful, patient answers, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much for the presentation as well.
Thank you, Rishit.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah.
Close that. And yeah, Jitendra, please go ahead. Are you there? Jitendra?
Even today we had new speaker, right?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, Anisa.
Today we had
Hello,
new speaker.
Shivani. Hello, Shivani. Can I ask a question?
Narendra ji, yeah.
Yeah. Narenji, please let Jitenji ask and then just last question from
Yeah.
Okay.
Good morning in India and good evening in US. My name is Jitendra Saujana. I'm a CA and a company secretary, and I'm a partner in a CA firm in Bombay. We have a office in US also. We have a US firm, and we do CPA work over there. Basically into audit, we have PCOB license also. We want to acquire a CPA firm in New York or New Jersey. But how do we raise finance in US without having a US citizenship?
Yeah, that is a good question. So from a funding standpoint, you will preferably need to have a US entity, which will give you access to acquisition financing from banks or even there are some angel investors that prefer to have somebody in the US. So foreign companies needing capital support in US, the best solution is incorporate an entity here, have someone in US as your partner, someone who can sign off for the company, and that's the best way to go. And also, overseas companies will not be able to fund you in the US unless you're a very large operation. So a US entity will always help you to knock on the doors of capital sources. Yeah.
And how do we acquire a CPA firm in US, basically in auditing?
Yeah. There are agencies for that who specialize in M&A for CPA firms. You could also talk to Economic Development Council in the state you're in and talk to them, and they do have a complete idea of what's happening in the market in all sectors, and they'll be able to guide you as well. And if you have any private network, definitely tell them to keep their eyes open. And what you could also do is, if you have some bandwidth, engage a boutique M&A firm and give them a mandate and say, okay, hey, get us a CPA firm and tell
Okay.
them what the parameters are. That could
Okay.
be a very rock solid approach, because then you're not open-ended. There's a firm which takes a mandate and they know they can execute it. So you can accomplish your goal in a time frame that's possible too. Yeah,
Thank
there
you.
are various options, and if you like to talk about it offline, you can reach Shivani, and you'll be able to get through to me through.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Of
Thank you,
course.
Jitenji. Narenji, last question from you.
Yeah, I'll
Already
first
ran
like
30
to.
minutes over time.
Okay, I'll go quickly,
Yeah.
just because I mentioned, so I didn't want to go away. Otherwise, I wouldn't have taken time. First of all, thank you very much, Guruji, for such a wonderful and insightful session. I have two questions. One is on the personal front, that what scope do people who are retired sitting at home have, and being qualified chartered accountants have, or doing some online consultancy, some small time? Because you normally, I heard that it's some when you work in US or work with US companies, it has to be a big venture. So what about those small timers who want to just sit at home and do some consultancy online? Is there any scope for that? And secondly, on the macro front, I would request you to share those links of your podcasts, so that Shivani can share in the group.
I'll share,
We'll
sir.
like to
I'll
hear.
share that.
Yeah, yeah. We'll like to hear those post podcasts about how India is going to reach that superpower status in 2040, by 2047, which is largely talked about. But no discussion on macro can be complete without talking of the challenges, and how those challenges, which are currently there with the country, would be addressed. Because as far as the 3 points are there in my mind. One is the trade deficit, which India is facing at the moment, is highest ever, which is the $333 billion I just saw. And then the heavy withdrawal of the foreign investors, which is nearly 2.5 lakh crores this year. And the third is the dollar falling rupee against the dollar, which is the again a very high record. So these are the challenges which we are actually, when we see at it, we are going backwards rather than forwards. So those are my two questions, please.
Yeah, I'll quickly respond to your valid point. Very, very, very brilliantly captured there. I agree with you. It's not going to be a smooth ride. It's going to be quite challenging. Whether it's a deficit situation, or whether it's a currency issue, or whether it's oil and gas crisis, just keep in mind, Narendra ji, that we are living in an extraordinary situation today. Okay, we're living in a world of wars, right? You have the Iran conflict, you have the Ukraine conflict, you have China breathing down the neck of Taiwan. You have so many other threats in all parts of the globe. So uh, until
I'd like to
Iran,
interrupt you here. I'd like to interrupt you here because the level and the stage at which you are working, I mean, I cannot argue much. But the thing is that is like we used to study in the management studies, that when there is in a glass of water, there are rocks in the bottom, and when the glass is filled with water, the rocks are not visible. But that is what I want to equate with, that maybe in the guise of war, many weaknesses of our policies, which are not exposed at the moment, they are also the reasons. So I'm just humbly, I would want to put it that.
yeah. No, I get your point. I get your point. But the reality is, there is a huge impact this year on global economy. because of several wars, and obviously energy situation has changed the economic trajectory of many nations, including US. Okay, it's not a smooth ride. Of course, US has oil reserves, but India I know is greatly impacted. So both the dollar currency situation, rupee situation, impacted by the oil and gas crisis, supply chain, all of those. These are some phases that a nation has to go through, whether we like it or not, because India didn't create it, but India is at the receiving end of what's happening globally, and that's one challenge that it will need to. And again, marching forward to be the third largest economy or second largest economy is going to be a combination of several factors. Of course, the digital leadership is a plus. Okay, aerospace and defense. India is still not there in terms of being self-sufficient. Cybersecurity, that's another big area that's coming up. Semiconductor, obviously, there's a dependence on China and America. Critical technologies, while India has the talent, it still needs a technology transfer from USA, and we still don't have a trade deal signed off. So these are some hurdles, but I'm sure, given the depth of leadership in India, India will be able to overcome and find solutions, navigate around these challenges. It may take a little longer, but I think the direction is right. That's what I meant.
So on the lighter note, the positivity with which you're saying it, we'll keep our I mean stakes in the Indian stock market, looking at the India story.
No, I'm not predicting stock markets. Yeah.
No, but the way, I mean, you put it, it's so positive. It's a great day today. It means India is looking at a bright future. That is, I mean, your whole talk was based on that. So really good to know and nice to hear.
Yeah, no, I just want to reiterate for the benefit of all the viewers that whatever I said today is literally what we are seeing on the ground today. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
but I just
look at-
intervened because no discussion can be complete without addressing the challenges.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, good point there. I must also just add one point here, Shivani. The funds like BlackRock, JP Morgan, several asset managers, largest asset managers in the world, they all have focus on India. They have India funds, they have India ETF, they have India mutual funds, and so this is a geography that is there in all the global strategies, and that's at a high level. Yeah, there are challenges, absolutely, and I take that point very well, Narendraji. But I think
Thank you, thank you.
it's a road that we have to travel and keep.
I would really look forward to hearing your podcasts and maybe one day directly interacting with you also.
I would welcome that. Keep in touch. Yeah.
Guru sir, आपका
Sir.
sir, what is your mother
And
tongue?
what about that online thing I was asking?
Okay, your
Any
first
scope
question.
for online? Maybe we can sit at home and do some sort of this thing.
Yeah. So you could actually get in touch with. There are several F&A firms, pretty large firms, backed by private equity in India, which have thousands of people, chartered accountants working for US companies, and maybe they will continue to have some work for people working from home. And if you need some introductions, I'm happy to make that offline. Yeah,
Okay, I'll get in touch with you.
yeah. Please do. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Naren sir. Thank you, Guru sir, for extending the time limit.
Thank
We
you.
have
No
done
problem.
more than 2 hours now. So yeah.
Yeah.
What is
Thank
Guru sir?
you for joining us, everyone. Yes, Hirani sir.
What is Guru sir's mother tongue?
My mother tongue is Kannada.
And
I'm living in Bangalore, Guruji, and I'm very much interested in learning Kannada.
Oh, okay, cool. What language do you speak?
No, I'm a Hindi and English person, but
Okay.
since I've been in Bangalore since last 6 years, and I would really love to know that language, because then you get to get in touch, personally with the local people also.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll make the introduction only if you learn Kannada.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway, thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you,
Thank
Narendra
you.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you,
And
Guru sir.
Thank
For
you
this
very much
wonderful.
for your patience in, I mean,
and
you
your
were very
name,
patient.
I would like to
Thank you.
also say that your name is Guru. So we just had Guru Purnima a few days back, and you acted like a real Guru today.
No, Guru, thanks to my parents for giving me this name, but I do tell everyone that I'm Guru only by name. I still keep learning from people like you.
Yeah.
So
Real Guru always
That
learn.
That is so
That
humble
must
of
be
you
the
to say so.
attitude. That
Yeah,
must
that
be
is
the
so humble
attitude
of
of
you to
life
say
for
so.
everyone.
Shivani, let's close. Shivani, too late.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much.
I would
Thank
like
you,
to close the
Shivani.
session,
Yes.
sure,
everyone.
sure.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
everyone.
much.
Have a good day.
Have
Yeah.
another session, another event lined up. Yeah, thank
Sure,
you,
sure.
everyone.
Have a good day,
Jai
sir.
Hind.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
everyone.
good
Jai
day.
Hind.